close your eyes. Imagine you are drifting far above the Earth, beyond the pale blue shimmer that once held your life. There is no sound here, only the gentle rhythm of your own breath and the quiet pulse of starlight stretching endlessly before you. Ahead lies a faint silver river arcing across the dark. That is the Milky Way, our home, our cradle, our cosmic ocean. From this distance it looks delicate, like powdered light spilled across velvet. But it is vast beyond imagining, more than 100 billion suns woven together in a slow, spiraling dance that has lasted for over 13 billion years. Each point of light you see is a world, and every world may carry stories. Some are young, still burning hot from birth. Others are ancient, their fires dimming after eons of steady glow. They all drift together, bound by gravity's invisible threads, a family of light moving through endless night. The Milky Way is not flat as it seems. Its disk bends gently upward and downward, as though the galaxy itself were breathing. Astronomers call this the galactic warp, a ripple caused by the quiet tug of smaller galaxies orbiting nearby, or perhaps by invisible currents of dark matter. Whatever the cause, the Milky Way moves not like a machine, but like something alive, graceful, patient, endlessly flowing. We live halfway between the center and the edge, inside a spiral arm called Orion Cygnus. Here, among ordinary stars, our sun circles the galactic heart once every 225 million years. That's a single galactic year, and since the sun was born, we've completed only about 20 of them. Dinosaurs walked beneath an entirely different section of this glowing river. Civilizations rose and fell before the solar system even drifted halfway around. Everything you know, the air, the oceans, the people, the memories, is being carried quietly through space like a grain of dust in a beam of light. Far above and below the thin galactic plane lies the halo, a sphere of ancient stars and invisible dark matter surrounding everything. These stars are elders, dim, red, nearly eternal. Some are older than the Milky Way itself, born in the smaller galaxies our own once consumed. Their orbits are long, tilted, and slow, as if they were drifting through time rather than space. And deep within the Milky Way's core lies a mystery even greater. There, hidden behind curtains of dust, waits a supermassive black hole called Sagittarius A*, 4 million times the mass of the Sun. It is silent now but not dead. Around it, stars loop in dizzying ellipses, whipped by gravity so intense that time itself bends. Long ago, it may have shone as a blazing quasar, lighting up the galaxy's heart like a cosmic lantern. Now it sleeps, wrapped in the darkness it created. Yet the Milky Way is far from quiet. It is a place of birth and destruction, of creation and collapse. Massive clouds of hydrogen drift through its arms, cold, dark, waiting. When these clouds compress, perhaps from the passing wave of a spiral arm, they ignite. New stars flicker to life, glowing blue-white against the black. These are the stellar nurseries, regions where suns are born and entire systems begin. Every atom in your body once passed through such a nursery. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, all forged in the hearts of ancient stars that lived and died before Earth even existed. You are, in a very quiet way, made of the Milky Way itself. When you look up at the sky on a clear night, you can see only a few thousand of the galaxy's stars. That's 0.00003% of the total, a mere whisper of what surrounds us. The rest remain unseen, hidden behind veils of dust or simply too distant for our eyes to reach. We live inside something far too large to ever see completely, like fish trying to imagine the shape of the sea. And though it feels still, the Milky Way is always moving. It turns on its axis once every 240 million years. Its stars orbit at different speeds, causing the spiral arms to form, not as solid structures but as waves of density moving through the disk. These waves gather stars and gas for a time, then pass on, leaving behind new generations of suns. It is a slow dance that never ends. Our galaxy itself travels through the universe at nearly 2.1 million kilometers per hour, pulled by the gravity of nearby clusters. Even now, the Milky Way drifts toward the Andromeda Galaxy, another great spiral shining faintly 2 million light-years away. In about 4.5 billion years the two will meet. But it will not be a violent crash. Instead, the stars will weave together, merging like streams of light. A new galaxy will be born, larger, slower, and infinitely beautiful. The Milky Way is both ancient and young, quiet and alive. It has grown by consuming smaller galaxies, tearing them apart and scattering their stars into luminous streams that wrap around its edges like ghostly ribbons. Every strand of light you see across the sky carries traces of those collisions, the memories of what came before. As you drift in this thought, let your breathing slow. Imagine yourself suspended in the middle of this great spiral, halfway between eternity and nothing. You are a note in a song billions of years old, a spark in a storm of light. And in this quiet moment, the galaxy hums around you, steady, eternal, and impossibly serene. At the center of everything lies silence. Not an empty silence, but one so full and dense that it feels alive. A silence that bends light, traps time, and whispers across the universe. This is the heart of the Milky Way, the place astronomers call Sagittarius A star. A black hole 4 million times the mass of our Sun, hidden 26,000 light-years away, behind veils of cosmic dust so thick that no human eye has ever seen it directly. But we feel it. Its gravity shapes the orbits of stars in the galactic core, pulling them into breathtakingly tight loops, stars whipping around the invisible heart at thousands of kilometers per second. Some complete a full orbit in just 12 years. Imagine that, a star the size of our Sun, circling a point of nothingness faster than any world could ever dream. Astronomers first discovered this through patience. Decades of watching the same patch of sky, mapping each flicker of light. They saw stars dance in ellipses around a single, unseen object. That was the proof. Something incredibly massive was there, but it emitted no light. That something was the Milky Way's sleeping giant. If you could stand near it, if such a thing were even possible, you would see space twist around you like water spinning into a drain. Light itself would bend, time would stretch, and every direction would seem to point toward the same abyss. But Sagittarius A** is not the kind of black hole that destroys everything around it. It feeds slowly, gently. Now and then, a passing cloud of gas strays too close, and the black hole wakes, flaring briefly in X-rays then falling back to sleep. For the rest of the time, it waits in perfect darkness, wrapped in silence billions of years deep. Still, even asleep, it rules the galaxy. Every star, every planet, every drifting cloud of dust moves under its distant pull. It is the axis of the Milky Way spiral, the quiet metronome that keeps time for 100 billion suns. The center around Sagittarius A** is far from empty. It's one of the most energetic regions in the galaxy, filled with intense radiation, magnetic fields, and clusters of massive young stars. Astronomers call it the galactic bulge, a dense swarm of suns, each one larger and hotter than our own. Their light merges into a soft golden glow, blurred by dust, painting the Milky Way center in warm amber tones. And within that light, mysteries bloom. There are clouds of gas so hot they glow in X-rays, and others so cold they whisper only in radio waves. There are gamma-ray bubbles, enormous twin spheres stretching above and below the galactic plane, believed to be the afterglow of ancient explosions. They shine faintly, invisible to human eyes but captured by telescopes, like scars of something powerful long gone. Perhaps, billions of years ago, Sagittarius A** was awake, feeding, roaring, shaping space with radiation and wind. The echoes of that time may still ripple through the stars, a memory written in light and gravity. But the Milky Way's heart isn't just fire and energy. It's also history, a place where old stars go to fade. Some have orbited there since the galaxy's birth. They are survivors from an earlier universe, moving slowly through clouds of younger suns, their light dim and red, like dying embers in a storm. Among these old stars are wanderers, rogue suns thrown from their homes by gravitational chaos. Some come from other galaxies that once collided with ours. They carry different chemical fingerprints, different origins, ghosts of alien systems now bound forever to the Milky Way. The core, in this sense, is a museum of time. Every layer holds a story, collisions, births, deaths, and the endless migration of light. And all of it, every orbit and every fragment of dust, moves under the watchful silence of the black hole at the center. When you look at the Milky Way from Earth, what you see as a hazy band is, in truth, the bright plane of this spiral galaxy viewed from inside it. The densest part, near the constellation Sagittarius, is where the core lies, glowing softly through clouds of interstellar dust. For thousands of years, humans have stared at that glow and wondered what burns within it. Now we know. It's not a god or a fire or a portal to another world, but it might as well be. It's the point around which everything else turns, the still heart of an infinite wheel. And though it is silent, it speaks, in the way stars move, in the way light bends, in the way time itself slows. It is the most patient thing in the galaxy. If you were to fall into it, you wouldn't notice the moment of no return. The horizon of the black hole is not a wall, but a smooth curve of space. You drift across it, still seeing stars, still feeling normal. But soon, light from the outside universe would fade, redshifting until it vanished. You'd be alone in darkness, falling forever toward a center that has no size, no space, no time. No one knows what happens then. Some say all matter collapses into a singular point, infinite density, zero volume. Others suggest something stranger, that what falls and emerges elsewhere, reborn in another universe. Perhaps black holes are seeds, doorways through which creation renews itself. Whatever the truth, the Milky Way's heart keeps its secrets. And maybe it should. Because if the galaxy were alive, if it could dream, then Sagittarius A* would be its pulse. Slow, steady, endless. Every world, every being, every sunrise you've ever known beats in time with that silent rhythm. And though we'll never hear it, that heartbeat is the reason we exist at all. Imagine the Milky Way not as a still picture, but as something alive, vast and breathing, its arms flowing like rivers of light through an endless night. Each arm is a wave, not a structure. A pattern made of motion and time. These are the spiral arms of creation, the places where the galaxy gives birth to its stars. They stretch like luminous tendrils, sweeping gracefully around the galactic core. From afar they seem serene and perfect, but inside them chaos reigns, gravity collides with gas, and from that collision beauty is born. When astronomers first mapped the Milky Way, they imagined it as a grand pinwheel of 4 arms, Perseus, Scutum Centaurus, Sagittarius, and Norma, with our sun nestled in a smaller bridge between them, the Orion arm. But these arms aren't solid roads. They are density waves, like the ripples on a pond after a stone falls in. The stars and gas flow through them, slow and steady, but the wave, the pattern, moves on. As the wave passes, clouds of hydrogen gas are squeezed together. The pressure rises. The gas cools. And then, ignition. Stars flare into existence, one after another, like candles being lit in a dark cathedral. These newborn stars shine fiercely, their blue-white light cutting through the surrounding darkness. They burn fast and die young, leaving behind supernovae that scatter the ingredients for the next generation of stars. Creation and destruction, repeated endlessly, that is the rhythm of the arms. Our sun, too, was born in one of these waves about 4.6 billion years ago. The dust that once drifted quietly in a molecular cloud came together, pulled by gravity, until it became a star. Around it, the leftover gas and debris formed planets. One of them was Earth. That same process happens even now in the spiral arms of our galaxy. In the constellation Orion, not far in galactic terms, lies one of the most famous nurseries, the Orion Nebula. If you could stand close enough, you would see curtains of glowing gas, pink and violet, stretching for light years. Within those clouds, hundreds of new suns are forming, each surrounded by swirling disks of dust that may one day become worlds. These nurseries are the cradles of creation, glowing with the same light that once kindled our own Sunday. They are the heartbeat of the spiral arms. But for every birth there is a death. As massive stars reach the end of their lives, they collapse and explode, sending shockwaves through the arms. Those explosions enrich the galaxy with heavy elements, iron, carbon, oxygen, the building blocks of life. Without those dying stars, there would be no oceans, no breath, no thought. The spiral arms are not constant. Over millions of years, they shift and drift, reshaping themselves. Stars born together can scatter across the galaxy, like dandelion seeds carried by invisible wind. Some become wanderers, traveling alone through interstellar space. Others form clusters, small, tight families that orbit together for billions of years. When you look up at the Milky Way's glowing band in the night sky, you are seeing one of those arms from within, a glowing river of stars stretching from horizon to horizon. And yet, for all its brilliance, most of the galaxy remains dark. Between the arms lie vast, silent regions, interarm spaces filled with thin gas, dust, and the faint glow of older stars. These are the pauses between breaths, the quiet between songs. Scientists believe the Milky Way's spiral shape may have been born from collisions, ancient encounters with smaller galaxies that stirred its disk and set the waves in motion. Over billions of years, those waves stabilized into graceful spirals. Even now, as we move through space, smaller galaxies like the Sagittarius dwarf are being slowly torn apart and absorbed, their stars joining our spiral dance. Every new collision reshapes the pattern, renewing the arms, keeping the galaxy alive. The Milky Way is, in a sense, an artist. Its brush is gravity. Its paint, light and dust. And with every rotation, every 240 million years, it paints again. If you could speed up time, watching from above, you'd see the spiral arms shimmer and flow, glowing brighter where new stars ignite, fading where they die. The galaxy would look like a living creature, its heart pulsing, its limbs rippling through the dark sea of the cosmos. Our sun is a traveler on one of those arms, moving slowly outward with each orbit, drifting through waves of starlight. Everything you've ever known, every life, every history, has taken place on a single grain of dust orbiting one ordinary star, in one arm of one galaxy among hundreds of billions. And yet, that single grain carries the reflection of the whole. The arms of the Milky Way are not just pathways of matter. They are records of time, each star, each nebula, each dark cloud a chapter in the story of creation. Somewhere within those arms, new worlds are being born right now. Planets that will one day have oceans, skies, maybe even eyes that look up and wonder, just as we do. The Milky Way continues to spin, slow and eternal. Its arms reach across the void, embracing the darkness, turning chaos into beauty. It is a quiet miracle, the kind that happens every second, everywhere, unseen. And as we drift along this spiral wave, we are part of it. A note in the song, a spark in the arm of creation. Far beyond the edge of our spiral arms, past the haze of interstellar dust and the shimmer of faint stars, another galaxy waits. Andromeda. She hangs in the sky like a ghostly blur 2.5 million light-years away, so faint you can barely see her without a telescope. And yet she is our future. Because the Milky Way and Andromeda are on a slow, inevitable collision course. But don't imagine destruction. Imagine transformation. For in the vastness of space, even when galaxies collide, they rarely shatter. They merge, they reshape, they become something new. Andromeda drifts toward us at nearly 400,000 kilometers per hour. In human time that sounds fast, but in cosmic time it's glacial. The two galaxies will meet in about 4.5 billion years, roughly when our sun begins to fade into a red giant. By then, Earth may no longer exist as we know it, but the galaxy will still be alive, still moving forward in its endless cycle. When they finally touch, the first encounter will look like a slow dance. Their spiral arms will stretch and twist, pulled by each other's gravity, like ribbons in a slow, invisible wind. Stars will be scattered into long, glowing tidal tails that sweep across millions of light-years. From a distance, it will look like two galaxies embracing, their light mixing into a single luminous storm. And yet, despite the name collision, almost no stars will actually crash. The distances between them are so vast that most will simply pass through untouched, like grains of sand in a cosmic breeze. But their gravity will ripple through each other's disks, triggering waves of star formation. New stars will be born in the chaos, hot, bright, and blue, burning with the same fierce energy that filled our galaxy's youth. Eventually, the Milky Way and Andromeda will merge completely, their centers spiraling together. At the heart of each lies a supermassive black hole, and these two titans will circle one another like predators, slowly closing the gap, until they merge in a final burst of gravitational waves that will ripple across the universe. After billions of years, the chaos will settle. The stars will find new orbits. The gas will calm. And what remains will no longer be a spiral galaxy. It will be something larger, rounder, quieter. Astronomers call it Milkomeda, a vast elliptical galaxy glowing softly in the dark. From within, it will look peaceful, a golden sea of aging stars drifting in calm harmony. And somewhere in that new galaxy, our sun's ghost, now a white dwarf, will still orbit, a tiny ember among billions. It's strange to think that our galaxy's future is already written in motion. Every night, when you see Andromeda in the northern sky, faint and silver, you are looking at a slow destiny. A promise written in gravity itself. But this isn't the end. Even as galaxies collide and merge, the universe continues to expand. New galaxies drift apart, pulled by dark energy, spreading the cosmos wider and wider. In time, Milkomeda will stand alone in an ever-darkening sky, surrounded by emptiness. The stars will age and fade. The lights will dim. And yet, within that silence, the atoms that once made up worlds like ours will still exist, scattered, waiting. The universe is not a tragedy. It is a cycle. Every collision, every explosion, every death gives rise to something new. Galaxies are born from chaos and return to it, only to bloom again in another form. The Milky Way itself was once part of another, long ago, its stars born from the ashes of older worlds. So when you look up at the Milky Way tonight, remember, it is temporary but not fragile. It is a shape the universe wears for now. And someday long after us it will wear a different face, brighter, larger, more serene. If there are eyes to see it then, they might look upon Milkomeda and feel what we feel now. That quiet sense of awe, that whisper of infinity. They might wonder who came before. And whether somewhere, across the darkness, other galaxies once collided, other stars once dreamed. The Milky Way story doesn't end with collision. It continues, through light, through dust, through every atom that drifts between the stars. In that endless cycle we find not fear but peace. Because everything that was will be again. And the universe will keep breathing, slowly, gently, forever.